Fuck all the bullshit. Fuck all the bullshit. We're $37 trillion in debt. No one has been fired yet. Chuck Schumer been working in Congress since 98. My bad. 96. And in 2009, we was $9 trillion in debt. Now we're $37 trillion in debt. And Chuck Schumer is still working? Oh, we fucking retarded? Chuck Schumer should have been fucking fired a long fucking time ago. Once again, the question is, who in the fuck do we owe $37 trillion to? People stop watching. Get the music out.
That doesn't expire for another few months. Let's talk about it. Let's negotiate. Let's do what you do. And
get rid of the music. The cartoon is already telling the truth. You don't need the fucking music to hypnotize people too. With the lies mixed with the truth.
No place to go here. Don't leave it in here. So what? I'll be just screwed. There was no another way. Maybe our future is the difference. But now we're supposed to do look at what's changing. People are buying land outside the city, building small homes, growing their own food, working online. Remote work means you don't have to sell your soul just to live near an office. You don't need a visual working system. There are billions of villages, quads, and those communities will love the French, not lose the change, our truths and bad facts. Your Gen Z, the system already decided will never come. The old Your Gen Z, the system already decided. We'll never own houses. Nobody wants to conflict with their will. The immigration was, I told you, Satan isn't out there. It's just a notice. Everything's designed to keep the most rage, junk food, rage news, TikTok trash. You think you're safe? No, you're down. Already at the wars. Wars aren't over. Now the battlefield is your seed. The seed is so much. This one the risk of progress. So internet. You spend most of your life online. The enemy isn't outside, it's in your emotion. Fears. One level posting cause more damage than bombs. The whole point is to set people against each other every hour. So the internet is basically open propaganda like the ordinary is possible. Anyone can launch an info attack now. I'd see it as a grenade. A headline is a landmine. You're in the middle. Even if you think you're safe, if you take their spread, it applies to your targets every day on the front line. So how do we protect us?
I believe shit.
Double check your anger. Spot emotional
Question
patterns.
everything.
If you don't control your mind, you manipulate it. When that happens, you're not living your own life. You just play the part they want. You think you're safe, huh? Slow down. You're already in the war. The war's on you. Now the battlefield is your feet. Really?
This is October. We are entering hurricane season all across the southeastern part of the country. Flood insurance for a lot of people who are suffering from hurricanes or have suffered from hurricanes is going to disappear because the government shut down. Let's reapprove that. Let's fix
You spend most of your life online. The enemy isn't outside. It's in your emotions, your clicks, your fears. One viral post can cause more damage than a bomb. Divide and conquer. The whole point is to set people against each other online every day, every hour, every platform.
So the internet is basically the ultimate propaganda weapon, like way beyond anything in the past.
Exactly. They dreamed of this in the old days. For one message, you control millions. Now you don't need a tank, just a trending topic. One message per hit. Because a triggered mind is easy to control. You're right. You're distracted. You're scared. You're defiant. Nobody's neutral. You're a real target. Always the young. Always the next mind to shake. Anyone can launch an info attack now. It's sweet as a grenade. The headline is a landmine. You're in the middle. Even if you think you're safe, it mutates, spreads, and finds its every day you're on the front line.
So how do we protect ourselves?
Long before you're here. Double check your anger. Spot emotional threat. If you don't control your mind, the manipulators. When that happens, you're not living your own life. You just play the part they want. You think you're safe, slow down. You're only in war. War is cold. Now the battlefield is your feet.
When they simultaneously made those means eligible for healthcare benefits for taxpayers. In the one big beautiful bill, President Trump and congressional Republicans turned off that money to healthcare funding for illegal aliens. They never put it turned back on. And in their initial
You spend most of your life online. The enemy isn't outside. It's in your emotions. Clicks, fears. One viral post can cause more damage than a bomb.
You say more time to
Every day, every hour, every platform.
So the internet is basically the ultimate propaganda weapon, like way beyond anything in the past.
Exactly. They dreamed of this the old days. One message, you control millions. Now you don't need a tank, just a trending topic. One message per hit. Because the trigger mind is easy to control. You're outraged. You're distracted. You're scared. You're defiant. Every square. Nobody's neutral. You're a real target. Always the young. Always the next trigger chase.
if they're willing to do so.
Our husband wanted to share pictures from the Oklahoma meetings with humor,
Anyone can launch an info attack. A tweet is a grenade. A headline is a landmine. You're in the middle.
any insight into that meeting, because the last shutdown, Mr. Vice President, was 35 days. Americans can't go, here are the pictures. Americans cannot go that long without
Why
getting
does it
vacation,
feel like everyone's
being
either
furloughed.
woke or
So can you give us some insight
No
into
one's
what
in the
they
middle
talked about, maybe
That's
how
not your
we can come
imagination,
to
Nugget Brain. The
compromise?
world's splitting in two. No more miserable hats. No more halfway.
So it's like
They never had a middle class, man. Fuck, them bitches made that shit up for you and me.
You notice the media alone. You cannot see it. You close your eyes and defend it even harder than the year.
Never show someone a real conspiracy.
It was before them talking to me and the president, and we were having a very good conversation about healthcare policy. But the president finally sort of threw up his hand and said, guys, let's absolutely work on this healthcare policy agreement to fix this issue for the American people, or to take us. We're going to shut down the government and then
How do you know you're awake? You start
let's
losing
negotiate,
and
but
gaining
we're not going to
strangers who see
reward
the same
this
thing.
behavior.
It feels weird at first. Then it feels
There
inevitable.
is no middle. No half rich, no half away. Two roads, two futures. Most will never know. But if you do, we're already on the other side.
funny thing is, the hardest part is waking up. It's realizing how few people ever will.
Perhaps you'll never see this page again. Follow for more so you don't miss what's next.
Why does it feel like everyone's
American Express Insurance, IUL.
That's not your imagination, Nugget Brain. The world's splitting in two. No more middle class. No more halfway.
So it's like you're either seeing the script or living in it. Exactly. It used to be about rich and poor. Now it's awake or asleep. No half-truth left. You notice the media line. You cannot see it, so you close your eyes and defend it even harder than the year.
You ever show someone a real
in
conspiracy?
China's case, decades, it's you don't shut the government down as a policy agreement. If that's exactly what they've done, let's get back to rationality, open up the government, and then we can sit down.
Middle's dissolving place. No more safe zone. You break out or the program swallows you. You know, when you finish your sentence, sleepers will fight for their own chains.
Here's the test. How do you know you're awake? You start losing old friends and gaining strangers who see the same thing. It feels weird at first, then it feels inevitable.
So it's too late for the middle?
There is no middle. No half rich, no half away. Two worlds, two futures. Most will never notice. But if you do, you're already on the other side.
Funny thing is, the hardest part isn't waking up. It's realizing how few people ever will.
Perhaps you'll never see this page again. Follow for more so you don't miss what's next.
Click there.
Peter, why does
They
it feel
clean
like
up your
everyone's
head.
either woke or totally clueless? No one's in the middle anymore.
That's not your imagination, Nugget Brain. The world's splitting in two. No more middle class, no more half awake.
So it's like you're either seeing the script or living in it?
Exactly. It used to be about rich and poor. Now it's awake or asleep. There's no half dreaming left. You notice the media line. You can't unsee it. Or you close your eyes and defend it even harder every year.
You ever show someone a real conspiracy and they just glitch out? Two people watch the same video. One sees the lie, the other sees official news. That's the split.
But what about normal people?
You know,
How do you know you're awake? You start losing old friends and gaining strangers who see the same thing. It feels weird at first, then it feels inevitable.
So it's too late for the middle?
There is no middle. No half rich, no half away. Two worlds, two futures. Most will never notice. But if you do, you're already on the other side.
Funny thing is, the hardest part isn't waking up. It's realizing how few people ever will.
Perhaps you'll never see this page again. Follow for more so you don't miss what's next.
Peter, why does it feel like everyone's either woke?
Yo, Peter, what is this Tartaria nonsense? Sounds like your brain slipped on a history book and hit rewind.
God forbid, Stewie. It was real. One of the biggest empires ever existed, and it was erased for a history and timeline reset.
Wait, like a real empire?
Look at 1600s to 1700s maps. Great Tartary stretched across all of Asia, Russia, even parts of Europe. Official maps, libraries, atlases. Then after 1850, gone. Replaced by civilized nations.
Maps change. Doesn't mean cover up.
Sure, except the architecture stayed. Massive stone buildings, cathedrals, railroads, built in places that supposedly had no machines, no tech, no money. Who funded that? Where are the blueprints? Where are the under construction photos?
Yeah, most old photos just show cities already finished.
Exactly. And the kicker? Mud floods. Literally. Cities buried halfway out. Buildings with windows underground, doors at the second story. In Russia, in the US, in Europe, everywhere.
Maybe natural disaster.
Then why did orphan trains follow the mud floods? Why were hundreds of thousands of kids moved to empty cities with zero adults?
What the hell?
They didn't rebuild the world. They repopulated it with kids too young to ask questions and schools ready to teach the new history.
Still feels like a stretch, Peter.
Okay, then answer this. Why do ancient buildings have residence chambers and star-shaped fortresses aligned to energy grids? Why did the U.S. Capitol, St. Petersburg, and India all use the same impossible tech and layout without ever meeting? And why did every major world expo from 1850 to 1900 get demolished after just 1 year?
Dude, who builds marble palaces just to destroy them?
People who don't want the old world to be remembered.
So we're not in history class. We're in version 2.0?
Exactly. You weren't born into civilization. You were born into its cover story. They erased your reference point. Real timeline. Real history. And they
That's why they told you you was born into sin. Because you was born into a fucking psyche. Psyche. If you were born into them playing with your psyche. Literally, you was born to them playing with your mental state. Oh my goodness, in God you trust as you trusting in the government. These people done programmed us to be straight up fucking stupid, fucking lying, fucking fool. To make believe nonsense. To stop us from using common sense. The common sense that we born with, is it the truth? Oh, we've been taught to be stupid. We've been taught to be cuckoo for cocoa puff.
Most old photos just show cities already finished.
Exactly. And the kicker? Mud floods. Literally. Cities buried halfway out. Buildings with windows underground, doors in the second story. In Russia, in the US, in Europe, everywhere.
Maybe natural disaster.
Then why did orphan trains follow the mud floods? Why were hundreds of thousands of kids moved to empty cities with zero adults?
What the hell?
They didn't rebuild the world. They repopulated it with kids too young to ask questions and schools ready to teach the new history.
Still feels like a stretch, Peter.
Okay, then answer this. Why do ancient buildings have residence chambers and star-shaped fortresses aligned to energy grids? Why did the U.S. Capitol, St. Petersburg, and India all use the same impossible tech and layout without ever meeting? And why did every major world expo from 1850 to 1900 get demolished after just 1 year?
Dude, who builds marble palaces just to destroy them?
People who don't want the old world to be remembered.
So we're not in history class. We're in version 2.0. zero?
Exactly. You weren't born into civilization. You were born into its... They erased your reference point, real timeline, real history, and they replaced it with the one that fits their narrative.
Okay, but what do we even do with that kind of input? It's not like we've got a time machine.
You don't need a time machine. You look around and ask what else they erased. Because once you see the lie, you're out of the simulation. And that's where their empire dies.
Yo, Peter, what is this Tartaria nonsense? Sounds like your brain slipped on a history book and hit rewind.